Hello there, YouTube. This is Robert Smith. It's April 29th, 2020, 1:47 a.m. Reason why I'm up a little early is because I'm about ready to get on the road, try to get my load delivered today before 4 o'clock Central Time. 4 o'clock in the afternoon, that is. I ended up picking up a load of coil wire, the coil wire that you find that would either be turned into electrical wire or maybe fencing, something like that. The raw material before you get wire fencing, things like that. A weird update I found when it comes to some of these places I've been to, especially in the Northeast, is all the crazy precautions these people have taken. And not one of them, which I find this really hard to believe, not one of them even bothers checking the temperature of every driver and every employee that comes in. And I'm like, it's no wonder you dang Yanks are sick. You people apparently are so crammed close together and everything like that. Not to mention, if Connecticut, Massachusetts, New York, and all these places are demanding a stay-at-home order, I don't think anybody's obeying them. I see more people, that includes truck drivers, out here on the road than I have in the Midwest or anything. When I was coming up here from California, I have noticed that the truck stops out there in the Midwest were not filling up as fast as they usually do. It's gotten to the point in the summertime, in the wintertime, or mainly in the wintertime, if you do not get off the road by a certain amount of time, or you don't take the time to reserve a parking space, good luck trying to find a place to park. And that's pretty much the same for the Northeast, because Massachusetts, states like Massachusetts and all of them do not have enough truck stops, but they demand truck drivers to come up here and deliver their goods, and a lot of their places do not allow overnight parking. And they make you sit for over 12 hours before they get off their lazy asses to unload you. And I'm like, so you run my clock out while I'm waiting for you to unload me or load me, and you're telling me I cannot go anywhere? All I can say is if I get a ticket for hours of service violations, I'll sue you. And I've been hearing a lot of truck drivers are starting to do that. And somebody also mentioned to me that some places are telling truck drivers that you're not allowed to use their restrooms or anything like that because of this virus outbreak. And I've been hearing a lot of truck drivers are suing people like that. And I really don't blame them. I mean, you're going to keep them there for 12 hours or God knows how long, sometimes even 24 hours to unload them. And you're not going to provide them with any facilities or anything like that? I don't think so. You're going to keep that crap up, I'll be lucky you get any truck drivers who would deliver goods to you in the first place. Which I will say this, not every truck driver's got the spine to stand up and say no to their dispatcher or to anybody like that. They feel, getting treated like crap is part of the job. No, it's not. Nobody has the right to treat anybody like crap. I mean, I don't have an issue. I have not had an issue for a while, don't get me wrong, except a little bit yesterday. When I went to pick up this load, I was asking this guy a simple question. He was freaking rude to me. All I did was ask a simple question. He asked, do you need me to throw something up there? And they're like, yeah, we need a coil rack front and rear. And I'm like, okay, how am I supposed to do that if I can't get on that trailer? Which is true. It's like, people do it all the time. You could throw it up there all the time. And I'm like, you could have just said, just put it there, and then we'll use the forklift to adjust it. I did not know he was going to do that. I've never seen anybody do that, okay? A simple yes or no question would have been fine. I'm getting sick and tired of these northern Yanks, New Yorkers, Massachusetts, Connecticut people, Pennsylvanians, all these people up here. And It's not just you guys, it's Californians, Oregon people, Washington people, all these people, some of these people up there in the Northwest and the Northeast treat me like I'm some kind of stupid hillbilly because I've got a Southern accent. I got news for you people. Just because I've got an accent does not mean I'm fucking stupid. Okay? Excuse my language. But you know, that's how I feel sometimes. I'm not stupid. Alright? If anybody who's stupid, it's you for assuming everybody with my accent is just as dumb as the Beverly Hillbillies. Tell you right now, them Beverly Hillbillies know how to survive better than you people do. But yeah, anyway, next time somebody asks you a question, just give them a simple yes or no question, because I'll tell you this right now. I'm very easily offended. And there's some people out there that are like me, very easily offended, but they tend to get more violent than I do. But all I can say is, nasty little assholes like you are going to get your comeuppance one of these days. And don't take that as a threat, I'm just saying. I ain't going to waste my damn time going after somebody just because they pissed me off. I just may never want to see that asshole again, that's all I can say. But yeah, you stupid Yanks, suck up your pride and quit treating people like they're stupid, alright? Because you come out to my neck of the woods with that kind of attitude, you're in for a world of hurt. But beside the point, another thing I find kind of funny this morning I saw President Trump had to pass an executive order telling meat processing plants to stay open. I'm like, why in the world did it take the president passing an executive order for that? I mean, it's common sense, people. We need food. We need to stay open. Food processing plants are an essential. So are truck drivers. If every processing plant stopped, we'd have a food shortage. We have a food shortage, we have riots. We have riots, we have wars. That's all I can say. It's the domino effect. But one of the things I find weird is it's just I can't believe that. I mean, what, you workers scared to go to work? Find a new profession. That's all I can say. Because I know thousands of people out there who would love to have a job right now just to feed their families. Well, so be it if that happens. But the thing I found stupid was the fact, I can honestly see that because lawyers do not know how to keep their mouths shut. Lawyers who go with OSHA and things like that. I mean, the way I see it when it comes to this coronavirus stuff, a food processing worker has the same chance of getting the coronavirus at the workplace as they would from losing a finger. Yeah, when meat processing plants first came out, there were accidents left and right. And that's the way I see it. Plus, why are you people so worried? Don't they take your temperature before you even come to work? And I have been seeing that. I've also saw in his executive order on the news clip I saw for Trump's executive order was they're going to be doing frequent testing, which if you're working with food, I can see that. I mean, it makes sense. You don't work in a restaurant if you're sick. You shouldn't even go to work in anything that deals with food, including citrus warehouses, fruit warehouses, cold storage, you name it. Anything that deals with food. If you're sick, stay home. Stay home. Now, I really am just getting sick and tired of all the people out here, all these people getting so dang scared of everything that they rather hunker down at home. You know, if I was so worried about this virus, I would not be out here. Trust me, there has been times I was about ready to say to hell with everybody. To hell with our economy. I'm going home because I'm out here risking my neck for this country. What thanks do I get for it? Don't get me wrong, there are people out there that are thanking us, but I just wish I'd actually saw more of it. But every time I come out here to the Northeast, I don't see it. I see it more out in the Midwest than anything. But every time I go across the mountains into California or anything like that, I don't see it. I don't see it out here in the Northeast either. So apparently you New England people are such such the jerks I take you for. Apparently, and you expect me to bring your goods to you? I got news for you. I'm not. You people want your goods, get up your butts and get them yourself. I'm getting to that point. But anyway, the fact is, I'm like, really, people saw in that same clip that a bunch of activists were freaking out, saying, "Oh, so now thanks to Donald Trump, going to work at the processing plant's now a death sentence." No, it's not. If you're sick, don't go to work. It's that simple. And if they gotta hire somebody part-time to take your place, so be it. We need to keep food going, America. All I can say is that, hey, if I had to, I've got the luxury. If I've got to go out hunting, say deer hunting out of season, violate fish and game laws to feed my family, so help me God, I'll do it. But a lot of people ain't got that kind of luxury. Especially New York City with their unconstitutional gun laws and the lack of wildlife, edible wildlife that is, nearby. I sure as hell would not want to eat a dang city pigeon. Because I'll tell you right now, animals, it's that saying, you are what you eat. You don't want to, hunt a bear and eat the meat. A bear that's been eating garbage, I should say. Bears that have been eating garbage and all that type of stuff around town, you don't want to eat that kind of meat. Because like I said, they are what they eat. It's the same thing with, apparently, I really don't mean to sound disrespectful or anything, but there have been cases in Oklahoma about wild pigs digging up cemeteries and eating the remains of people. Yeah, if you ever find out you catch a wild pig doing that, you don't want to eat that meat. But the thing is, like I'm saying, big cities do not have the luxury like people like me that live out in the country do. I can grow my own food. I can basically make myself 100% self-sufficient if I have to, where I don't have to go to a grocery store, or except maybe once a month or once a year or once every 6 months if I have to. But a lot of people do not have that kind of luxury. Not to mention, if things really do get bad, there are going to be people out there that do know I'm self-sufficient, and other people like me are. And next thing you know, they're going to come down to our neck of the woods and try to steal stuff from us. I know. Things get worse, people panic. It's like what Tommy Lee Jones says in Men in Black to Will Smith. A person is smart, but people are panicky, dangerous animals. And when this pandemic first broke out, I was really starting to see that. When it first broke out, I couldn't get a bottle of hand sanitizer until 2 weeks after the whole hoarding breakout happened. Not to mention, 4 weeks later, I have not been able to get me a mask or a respirator. I thought about making one, but something told me not to do it. And I found out why. It's because I'm claustrophobic. And I tried wearing a scarf around my face. That didn't work at all. It nearly caused me to have a panic attack. It's like I said, I'm claustrophobic. I've got to breathe fresh air or I'm going to panic. Which I will say this right now. Those of you who can wear masks, don't wear them 24/7. I'm like, seriously, people, those are not meant to be worn 24/7. I'm surprised we have not heard of any cases of people being hospitalized with carbon dioxide poisoning. You hold that thing under your mouth like this, constantly breathing 24/7. Sure, you're getting in oxygen, but you're not exhaling the CO2. You're blocking that CO2, so along with you breathing, you're recirculating that CO2 back into your dang lungs, along with the fresh oxygen. So you're not going to get it as fast, but still. Wake up, people. That's all I can tell you. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not ill-advising people to wear a mask. Just don't wear it 24/7 is all I'm saying. I don't care what some doctor or what the Surgeon General or the CDC says. Of course, I'm going to say this right now. The CDC is also getting a little on my nerves because I'm going to say this. If they're as good as they say they are, how come we don't have a vaccine for that damn virus yet? I think all they're doing is just sitting on their butts doing nothing. Not to mention, some people are like, oh, the CDC says you got an 80% chance of catching that virus. So, I know my body, and I know if I was sick, because I don't get sick that easily. The only issues I have throughout the year are just seasonal allergies, like everybody else. That's why if you hear me sniffling or something, that's because I go through many different climates. I was down in the south, down in North Carolina, 75 degrees. I come up here late at night, it drops down into the 30s, freezing my ass off up here. So yeah, I tend to have a little allergy problems, plus it doesn't help the fact I've got mountains to go over and all that stuff. But I'm not worried about getting sick. I'm not going to sneeze on somebody on purpose. Every time I sneeze or cough, I grab my shirt, stick my face down in there. That's what you're supposed to do, people. Ay, ay, ay. Now, not to mention, if it ever came to the point, like say, I really don't, if Walmart ever did this or something like that, they start taking people's temperatures before they go inside, and if they're running a temperature, they don't let them in. I have been noticing places like Home Depot, Lowe's, Menards. I went to a Menards in Illinois that's up and said this. We're not allowing anybody under the age of 16 inside. And I don't blame them on that one. I mean, why in the world would you take a bunch of little kids to a hardware store anyway? I mean, sure, Menards also has groceries, toys, and all that stuff, but Menards is more big on hardware like Home Depot and all them. And I really don't blame them for doing that. And if it ever got to the point that that places like that start taking people's temperature, I don't blame them one bit. Because legally, I don't care what anybody says, they have the right to deny service to anybody. And if they say, oh, you're running a temperature, you cannot come in. And if they ignore that and they go in, they could get in trouble for trespassing. Yeah, my dad called that martial law, but I'm like, in a way it kind of is, but it's not being enforced by law enforcement, it's being enforced by Walmart, not the law. The only time the law gets involved is when somebody's being rude, saying, you're not going to let me in to get medicine because I'm sick. I'm wearing a mask regardless if you're wearing a mask or not. If you're sick, you don't need to be going out there. Get somebody else to get your medicine for you. I mean, we probably would have been done and over with if people had a little more common sense, but now that I keep on thinking about it, I'm looking at all the people who are protesting out there, and I'm rooting for you. And I'm glad I'm starting to see people protest more because, like I said, all this is getting out of hand. If they tell me I've got to wear a freaking mask or some kind of face covering to get out of my damn truck, all I can say is, screw you. You're going to make me do all this and do all that because just to get a load that's not paying worth a damn, forget you. That's all I can say. But one of the things that's been getting on my nerves lately too when it comes to all this is all these states like Pennsylvania telling me that in order for me to go take a shit in a truck stop, I gotta wear a mask. I don't think so. I'm not sick, and I'm not worried about getting sick. Hey, if I do, give me an excuse to go home. It gives me an excuse to go home early. That's all I can say. And I know there are people out there that are worried, and I don't have an issue with that. Plus, as for all the food processing people out there, I really do want to thank you for what you do, and any of you who have lost loved ones, my condolences. But we do not need to give up. I really doubt that your deceased loved ones would want everybody to give up just because they passed. Because if I was in their shoes, like if I was a meat packer or any other food processing worker and I got sick and passed, the last thing I would want is for that plant to shut down. Because without the processing plants, we've got no food. Not to mention what people fail to realize nowadays, the way our modern day meat processing is one of the most safest and one of the most hygienic places out there. Mine is, say, regular mom and pop butcher shop, don't get me wrong. But when it comes to getting meat in bulk to fill the shelves of grocery stores and stuff, these people, it's one of the most safest and one of the most hygienic places you can think of out there. I've been to a lot of them. I've been to Tyson. I used to haul refrigerated before I went to flatbed. But I've hauled loads from Tyson. I've hauled loads from JBS, Smithfield, Cargill, you name it. I've even hauled some that had premium cuts of meat. I've seen like some huge briskets that I swear, good Lord, I would love to throw that in my smoker. But anyway, we honestly need those people going. It's not just the people who, not just the consumers, but the farmers, the truck drivers, everybody. It's a huge chain. We got hundreds of thousands of people, workers, truck drivers, farmers that rely on these places to stay open. And like I said earlier, lawyers need to quit targeting them because some worker gets sick. It's because it's so susceptible to the coronavirus or something. I got news for you. I really don't think the social distancing or anything like that is going to stop a damn airborne virus. Okay? And here's the thing. We do not live in a science fiction world. This is not Star Wars or Star Trek where you can eliminate a virus down to the molecule level by taking a small pill. We do not have nanobots that can go inside our bodies and attack viruses like that. This is not science fiction, people. This is real life. Yeah, sure. If you don't social distance and all that, yeah, you run the risk of spreading the coronavirus. But you run the risk of spreading everything that we have to deal with. The common cold, chicken pox, smallpox, all the freaking viruses and diseases that we have vaccines for. And there are some diseases out there that we don't have a vaccine for. The coronavirus is no different. You gotta wait for it to run its course. And stop believing all the BS you find on the media. They are making this sound worse than it really is. I finally found a news app that does not stick with the negativity like everybody else does. And I'm not pointing just at one place. So you Fox News haters, don't think for 1 minute I'm siding with you. But I'm talking about everybody, whether it be Fox News, CNN, CBS, NBC, ABC, Fox. I don't care who you are. I see more negativity on our modern news media than I do in a newspaper anymore. Or a news app like Breaking News. That's how I found out. It was that Breaking News app where I found out that there are more people recovering who have caught the virus, the coronavirus, and are recovering for it. And we're starting to see less and less deaths every day. The news media, all the other news media, is making it out like we're living in Stephen King The Stand. Now, I'll tell you right now, if people were dying, if perfectly healthy people were dying off, falling like dominoes or something like that, then I'd be freaking out. But during this whole pandemic, I've not seen anything like that. So there's no reason for me to freak out over something like this. I'm just getting tired of seeing I'm just getting tired of seeing people being scared all the time. I refuse to live my life in fear. And I will not bow down to a government that's going to find an excuse to hold me under their boot. I mean, I don't know if some of these are true, but I've been hearing a lot of cities have been trying, a lot of Democrat mayors in some cities have been trying to ban guns in their cities. I'm like, yeah, that is a freaking war waiting to happen right there. Criminals aren't going to obey those laws. If me disobeying some, luckily I don't have that problem where I live. But if I did, if disobeying a law like that makes me if it makes me a criminal to defend my family or have some way of putting food on my table, so be it. Frickin' King George III called people like me, before we became a country, a bunch of traitorous criminals. So you know what? If that's what I become, so be it. Just don't come crying to me when you guys ain't got no food or you have crime like crazy. Because I'll tell you right now, criminals will not obey those laws because they don't obey laws, period. New York City outlawed concealed carry. And they're one of the worst damn cities when it comes to murder and rape rates. Not to mention Los Angeles, Chicago. They're the worst. Some people say Detroit is one of the worst, but not as bad as you think it is because people are at least allowed to carry in Detroit. But got news for you dang Democrat governors, or hell, all you liberal politicians out there. Knock it off before you start a war. But anyway, I really don't keep track of stuff like that. I'm trying to keep track of the stock market, things like that, because, I rely on the stock market for my livelihood. Trying to make a living out here, and I'll be damned if I lose my career because some freaking chicken politician, some hypochondriac politician, so damn scared of germs and things like that, says I should. I got news for you. That's tyranny and oppression. I even saw one protester in Jefferson City talk about, we can go to a liquor store, but we can't go to church. That's communism. Well, I'm like this. I like to have both. I like the idea, hey, I love to go to a liquor store because I like to enjoy me a drink every now and then. But I also like going to church. My dad is an ordained minister. And all I can say now is start fighting back, America. Let's start reopening. Start getting everybody back to work. Because probably the people that are protesting now have enough immunity to this dang virus, they could get back to work. And I don't care what the CDC says. Hell, I'll tell you this right now. This is the same CDC that tells me I'm going to end up getting cancer because I drank water out of a well instead of drinking recycled sewage like people do in the city. I know, it's disgusting, but it's true. Get online and check out how your water treatment plants actually work. But the thing is, this same CDC, I've gotten to the point I barely believe anything they tell me because they don't understand people's livelihoods or anything like that. Well, anyway, it's been over 30 minutes, so I better bring this video to a close, but I do want to say that I'm glad I'm starting to see more and more positive things come out of this pandemic now. But we need to start seeing a little bit more too. We need to start seeing people getting back to work, getting things reopened. And don't be afraid to get back to work because of this virus. You can walk outside your house right now and get hit with a meteorite. That to me, the odds of that are like 1,000,000 to 1. I'm thinking you getting sick after all this is in the same dang odds as it is. Excuse me. But let's get back to work, America. Reopen everything. I've even met some it's too late to get the kids back to school, but this next September, let's get them back to school. And don't try to hold them back. That right there is one thing that's gotten on my nerves, is if kids get back to school and they gotta start their grades over again. I hope that doesn't happen. I mean, there are high school kids out there that got so upset to the point that they could not even attend their graduation because of this. And I don't blame them. When I graduated high school and went to Project Grad and all that stuff, that was one of the best times I've had in my life. But this stuff needs to hurry up and stop. That's all I can say. And don't make kids go to school during the summertime. Because when summertime comes around and this pandemic's over, it ain't going to surprise me if vacations start booming up again. So let's get back to work, America, so we can start reopening everything, start getting back to our normal lives, because I'll be damned if I've got to walk around wearing a stormtrooper helmet as a normal everyday life, because that's not living. You're better off dead. Because I'm half tempted to say this: better sick and free than oppressed and dead. Because I'm not worried about that virus killing me. I'd be more worried about my mental state killing me. I'm not saying I'm suicidal or anything, but I have a feeling that suicide rates are going to go up if this does not end soon. But I pray that that does not happen. I pray that we hurry up and get back to work, start getting things done. But anyway, my prayers go out to those people that are sick. And I do want to say this: thank you to all the people to all the food processing workers out there, and thank you to everybody who are braving this virus, our medical staff, our law enforcement, our military, everybody, our truck drivers, everybody that is braving this. A big thank you very much. My prayers go out to all of you. Everybody, a big thank you to everybody. My prayers be with you. Have a good one. Bye.